But I will tell you that lots of Australian viewers of the Mark Dolan show don't want to see Harry and Meghan. The reason why it went down well in 2018, Paul, is because the Australian public didn't know Meghan Markle very well. Well, they know her now. And what do they know her to be? A gold-digging grifter.
Prince Harry and Meghan are reportedly gearing up for a trip to Australia, but what was meant to be calm and smooth has flipped into straight chaos. Instead of a warm welcome, a lot of Australians are making it loud and clear. They are not feeling this visit at all. Petitions are blowing up with thousands of signatures, all pushing one message hard. Not a single bit of taxpayer money should go toward this trip. The backlash is getting louder by the day. What was supposed to be a picture-perfect getaway is now looking messy real fast.
Netflix has officially cut ties with Meghan Markle's polarizing lifestyle brand As Ever. But there's no other way to spin it, is there? She and Harry have been a massive disappointment for Netflix.
The situation is shifting so quickly that there is even talk the trip might get paused altogether. But before that, there is a bigger question. Why are Harry and Meghan even heading to Australia right now? The answer seems pretty obvious. Their major deals and projects are not holding up like before. Netflix has reportedly stepped away from Meghan, her podcast wrapped up suddenly, and even her lifestyle brand As Ever is struggling to keep momentum.
Because Netflix was holding her back and she wants to push forward. Well, what better way to do that than to go to these countries and sort of test run how the business could go if they expand into Australia. I think nothing has been confirmed, but certainly it feels like that's the mood music. So there is that aspect of it where they want to come here and I guess just sort of launch this new phase of their career. But at the same time, it will, of course, invite comparisons to that trip.
That shine they once had is starting to fade, and people are noticing. Because of all this, they needed a quick move to keep their names buzzing, and that is where this Australia trip comes into play. Harry and Meghan say it is all about private business and charity work, but not everyone is buying that story. A lot of people believe this is really about getting back in the spotlight and staying relevant. And here's where things get even more interesting.
Harry and Meghan are heading to Australia. Meghan's going to be a guest at a women's-only weekend event. And it's going to cost £1,700 for the 3-day weekend. Tell me what we could have got, Lizzie.
You can get a gala dinner, 2 nights accommodation, a question and answer session with Meghan, meditation, yoga, and a sound healing experience.
The spotlight is expected to be all on Meghan, not Harry. Meghan is reportedly planning an all-women event, and the price tag is raising eyebrows. Women may have to pay around £1,400 just to attend, get access to the venue, speak with Meghan one-on-one, and receive advice from her. That leads to a big question people keep asking. What exactly is she offering that justifies that price? To many, this feels like a calculated move to rebuild her image in Australia.
And prayers. The couple's popularity in Australia in 2018 was the catalyst for Harry and Meghan making demands as working members of the royal family. I don't know if you know that. In trying to step out of William and Catherine's shadow, Meghan started comparing herself to Princess Diana and tried to use this trip as leverage with the late Queen.
But if you look at the growing number of petitions, it seems like that plan is already hitting serious resistance. What makes this even more dramatic is the contrast to the past. Back in 2018, right after their wedding, their Australia tour was a massive hit. Streets in Sydney and Melbourne were packed with crowds just trying to catch a glimpse of them. At that time, they were seen as the fresh, modern face of the monarchy, and the energy around them was completely different. But fast forward to now, and the whole vibe around them has completely flipped.
Prince Harry's controversial memoir is proving to be a true tell-all.
They're going to want him to deliver something that sells books and makes headlines. But I think the view from within Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace is to ride this one out, to hope that this Sussex squall kind of blows itself out once they've said their piece.
The excitement that once followed Harry and Meghan is not the same anymore, not even close. After stepping away from royal duties and relocating to the United States, they shifted hard into building a celebrity-style brand. Along the way, they jumped into a series of controversial moments, including that headline-making Oprah interview, multiple documentaries, and Harry's memoir that pulled back the curtain on royal drama. All of that stirred major reactions and chipped away at the public. Support they once had, the goodwill that used to carry them, has taken a serious hit, and it shows. With that support fading, the one thing they still lean on heavily is their royal titles. Those titles have now become their strongest link to staying in the spotlight. And because of that, critics are looking at this Australia trip sideways. Some are calling it a branding move, others see it as a business play, and a few are even labeling it a fake royal tour.
Hasn't Australia suffered enough? What have you done to deserve this?
I know.
I mean, the couple's I'm thinking thoughts and prayers. The couple's popularity in Australia in 2018 was the catalyst for Harry and Meghan making demands as working members of the royal family. I don't know if you know that.
People across Australia are not staying quiet about this either. There is growing concern that the government might step in to host or support parts of the visit, and that could mean taxpayer money being used. That idea is not sitting well with a lot of citizens at all. The message being pushed is loud and direct. If this trip is truly private, then Harry and Meghan should cover every single cost themselves. No government involvement, no publicly funded security, and definitely no royal-style perks. That is exactly why petitions are gaining traction so quickly. Many Australians feel that if you choose to step away from royal life, then you should not keep enjoying the advantages that come with it. In their eyes, it just does not add up.
That relationship, and I don't think Australia has any desire to see them in April.
No, it's actually interesting because a lot of Australians are monarchists. And, you know, I've been to Australia many times. I know a lot of people in Australia. And the thing that I'm hearing is that they're so fed up because Australians really don't like it when somebody thinks that they're above the regular people.
Mm-hmm.
The situation is also starting to spill into politics, making things even more intense. Republican voices in Australia are questioning the relevance of the monarchy altogether. They are asking why Harry and Meghan are coming in the first place and what they are actually trying to achieve. On the other side, monarchists are not impressed either. From their point of view, Harry and Meghan turned their backs on the crown and should no longer be tied to it in any way. To them, whatever moves the couple makes now have nothing to do with the royal family. Some people are even suggesting that this trip could be a quiet attempt to slide back into royal relevance through the back door. But that idea faces a big obstacle.
And what does Meghan Markle do? Surprise! I'm releasing a new product, and as ever, I mean, they are so predictable in this sense.
It's either bad news or Catherine is doing something, so I've got to get the spotlight back.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth II had already made it clear there is no half-in, half-out setup when it comes to royal duties. Now, instead of rebuilding their image, this whole situation is adding even more tension and debate around the monarchy itself. Timing is playing a huge role in all of this, and it is hard to ignore. King Charles III is currently facing health challenges while also carrying the weight of leadership, and that puts extra attention on everything happening around the royal family. At the same time, Prince William and Catherine are not expected to visit Australia anytime soon, and that gap is raising eyebrows.
I've seen, what I thought was interesting was the announcement included private events. Like wouldn't we just assume that they would want privacy throughout the excursion? But don't forget, or don't think for 1 second, they won't try to make it look like an official royal engagement. They will want certain photo opportunities where there's an audience clamoring for them so that they can send those pictures to People magazine. But for the most part, I do think that it will be mostly private events and commercial ventures that they're pursuing more so than charity opportunities.
Some believe Harry and Meghan are trying to step into that space and grab headlines across key Commonwealth countries before senior working royals make their move. But with the backlash growing and petitions picking up speed, that plan may already be falling apart. The resistance is getting louder, and it is not slowing down. Even with all this noise, Harry is reportedly still hoping the trip could impress the king, and somehow place him back into the royal spotlight.
As of late 2025, Harry and Meghan's popularity in Australia is at an all-time low. Following a consistent downward trend over the years, polling indicates they're among the least popular members of the royal family.
But critics are not buying it at all. They see this idea as unrealistic and very unlikely to work. Harry and Meghan have said clearly that this trip is private and not tied to any official institutions. Still, people are asking serious questions, especially about security. If police and local authorities are involved in any way, then who is actually paying for it? That is where things start to look unclear, and this gray area is exactly why the petitions are gaining traction. Australians are worried that hidden costs or unexpected expenses could quietly land on the government if things are not handled carefully.
She is the daughter-in-law of King Charles, of our sovereign. She is married to King Charles's son, Prince Harry. And this tawdry event heaps embarrassment, yet more embarrassment, on our royal family, doesn't it?
It's a really good point, Kev. And, you know, we all know the Queen's dying wish was to not have them do this pseudo-royal sycophant.
Even though the trip is being labeled as private, the level of attention it is getting suggests something much bigger. There is also talk that they may try to recreate the energy from their 2018 visit when massive crowds showed up to see them. But if that happens, this private trip could instantly turn into a global media moment. And that is exactly what critics think they are aiming for to rebuild their image. So far, the royal family has stayed silent in public, but insiders say they are watching everything closely behind the scenes. The situation is still unfolding and the pressure around it keeps building. As this situation keeps unfolding, one thing is becoming very clear. The stakes are getting higher, and the pressure is not easing up anytime soon. Every move Harry and Meghan make right now is being watched, questioned, and picked apart from every angle. What makes this even more intense is how divided public opinion has become. Some people still support them and believe they have the right to rebuild their lives however they choose. But on the other side, there is a growing group that feels their actions do not match their words, especially when it comes to stepping away from royal responsibilities while still holding on to royal status. That tension is exactly what is fueling the headlines right now. The Australia trip is no longer just a visit. It has turned into a test of public perception, influence, and credibility, and the outcome could shape how they are viewed moving forward. If the trip goes ahead and receives massive attention, it could give them the boost they are clearly looking for. But if the backlash continues to grow, it might do the exact opposite and push them even further away from public support. There is also the bigger picture to think about. This is not just about one trip. This is about their long-term position on the global stage. Every appearance, every event, and every decision now carries more weight than ever before. And let's be real, the media is not going to take its eyes off this anytime soon. Whether things go smoothly or completely off track, this story is going to stay in the spotlight. So now the big question is, will this trip help rebuild their image, or will it create even more controversy around them? That is what everyone is waiting to see. If you want to stay updated as this situation develops and catch every new twist as it happens, make sure you subscribe and stay locked in. There is a lot more coming, and you do not want to miss the next update on this story. By stepping back and letting Harry and Meghan deal with the backlash on their own, it looks like a very intentional move. It is almost like they are being left to face the consequences of their choices without any royal backup, and that is making this situation even more intense. Right now, this Australia visit is shaping up to be a serious test. Not just a regular trip, but a moment that could decide whether they still have strong public support or if people are no longer willing to accept them moving with royal-style influence and perks. The outcomes are pretty clear, and they are going in two very different directions. On one side, they could manage to pull in some positive attention and slowly rebuild their image. But on the other side, things could turn rough fast, with public rejection, heavy criticism, media pressure, and long-term damage to a brand that is already facing challenges. And this situation goes beyond just Harry and Meghan. It is shining a light on a bigger shift in how people view the monarchy overall. There is less automatic admiration now and more demand for accountability, transparency, and real consistency. What used to be their strongest stage has now turned into their biggest challenge yet. The petitions have already set the tone, and right now, it feels like they are walking straight into a storm without much support behind them. So this is where everything stands. A trip that was supposed to boost their image is now surrounded by controversy, growing backlash, and major public debate. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this Australia visit is still a smart move, or is it a risk that could backfire badly? And if you want more updates like this, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you stay in the loop as this story keeps unfolding.